TFA fam, what is going on? How are all of you doing? Happy Thanksgiving to all of you who celebrate, to those of you who don't. Happy Football Eve. We got 3 games on the slate. We got news coming out. We got the Egg Bowl tomorrow as well for all you college fans. So shaping up to be a nice little holiday. So the chat is already filling up with questions. So let's just dive right into it, Kev. Hope you and the fam are doing well. We have our guy Ashton needs 2 here. Jarvis, Chenault, Elijah Moore, Edwards, Latavius Murray.
Elijah Moore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go Chenault.
Starting off with another agreement. There's been a lot of those. But yeah, just Baker super banged up. I saw in the injury report he's listed with 3 injuries. He didn't practice today, but again, Wednesdays aren't the end all be all. And that outside of their run game, it is pretty broken for Cleveland. And with Agnew being out of the picture, Corey Davis I think missed practice or got an injury during practice today as well. And that's kind of been something that, has been holding back a little bit of Elijah Moore's time. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. Now we need to sit one for Ashton, and that is Manny Sanders, Javonte, and Jarvis.
Sit Jarvis.
Yep, sitting Jarvis there as well. Abraham rocking with us, made a bunch of trades before the deadline. Let's go. C. Crip needs 2 in a full PPR. Gibson, Fournette, Mooney, Miles.
That one's close. I'm going to sit Fournette and Miles Sanders. That's tough. So I have all 3 of those running backs right there with each other. And you have to love Mooney tomorrow. Without Allen Robinson and the 16 targets that he saw last game. Great matchup against the Lions. So I can't sit him. And so, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
The only hesitancy I have with sitting Fournette is how involved he has been as a pass catcher, but on the ground, that is not a great matchup for him. So I think that's right. I think it's the right call with Gibson and Mooney.
Forgot it was Wednesday. Oh, happy Thanksgiving in advance. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Walito. We will be going live again Friday. So we just figured with 3 games tomorrow, it would be a smart move, to get all the questions in for the a lot of the stuff going on with Wednesday or Thursday games, and then we'll come back on Friday and we'll do it all over again. So you get a double dip of this show this week. Sweet,
sweet treat. It's like leftovers. It's like Thanksgiving leftovers. Can't get enough.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I totally agree. We had our annual 2.5-hour DFS pod last night with me and Ryan and Maddie. It was good times by all. So,
are you putting in any FanDuel lineups?
No, I did download the app, but we gotta do what we gotta do to get people on the show. And so,
hey.
Ryan, being at FanDuel, we had to cater to that. That was a one-off
compromise.
Yes. Anyways, Derek in full PPR 5-6 did a trade. Waller and Hines for Higbee and DK and Gaskins. Hurting at wide receiver with injuries and D-Hop. Good trade. Well, they signed Philip Lindsay. So Gaskins, that hurts, I think, a little bit. And I don't think it's like a big anything because I mean he still was lead back. They brought up Duke Johnson. He didn't really, eat all that much into Myles Gaskin's role. So I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it's just something to monitor there.
Yeah, I don't mind because Waller hasn't, outside of maybe 3 games, Waller hasn't been Waller. And, we have to assume that Seattle's going to turn around. I probably would have tried to get something else other than Higbee included in the deal. Because I think you can probably go out and just snag someone off of waivers who can do just as good. I would have tried to have gotten, another wide receiver 3, 4, a high upside guy in there. But I don't mind it. Because then if D-Hop can come back and be D-Hop after they come out of the bye, hopefully him and Kyler are in better shape. Then now you're looking at D-Hop, DK. I like that. Thoughts?
I don't mind it. Hines isn't really all that big of a deal. He's not nearly as involved as he was last year, so that doesn't really hurt all that much. I mean, losing Waller. I mean, I hate giving up a tight end like that, but I still think you're fine. Really, it's you got DK Metcalf for Waller is kind of the way I look at it. And I think Gaskins is a decent throw in. I mean, he's not obviously. I don't think you're looking to, he's not going to be a weekly starter. I wouldn't think, but I don't think this is a bad trade.
No.
But I also at 5 and 6, I don't think this either propels you either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Probably, like I said, probably even just dump Higbee. He's been, even his boom games are not exactly boom games. Probably just dump him and grab somebody else. Yeah, I don't mind it. Like I said, if D-Hop comes back, that's gonna make a big difference. You're gonna be sitting a lot better there. All right, Abraham is now lining up his 15 trades that he did. First one on the board, Jacobs, Monty, and A.J. Brown for CMC, Godwin, Hunt, and Julio. You want to unpack that one, Kev?
Anytime you can get CMC, you're happy with that. I can't believe that's all it took.
And getting Godwin thrown in with it.
And Hunt.
Tonight, yeah.
And Julio.
Yeah.
I mean, Julio is on IR. I think he should be coming back soon. But yeah, that's you killed that trade.
Yeah, very well done. Next one up, Aaron Jones, Waddle, and Moore for Lamar, CH, and Dionte.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, obviously you took a downgrade from Aaron Jones to CEH, and also I should mention that I don't want to say it was surprising, but I thought that Aaron Jones probably wouldn't be back until after their bye, but he returned to practice today, so that is a big plus for his availability, especially getting all the way back on Wednesday. They may still play it smart or not smart, but safe, and not have him play this week, but him getting back there already at practice on Wednesday, they did say it was a 1 to 2 week thing. So he very well could be active this week.
Yeah, I'm also curious who Abraham's quarterback was prior to Lamar. But I think Dionte's a nice buy. And truthfully, outside of the 4 touchdown game, Aaron Jones has been slightly disappointing. As well as A.J. Dillon has played. I think most of us were expecting Aaron Jones to take a step forward in terms of his usage, and as well as A.J. Dillon's play, that hasn't really come to fruition. He's basically been locked into the same workload as he was with Jamal Williams there. Another trade for Abraham that we can look at his starting lineup. Okay, then traded Hunt, Julio, and Conklin for Hawkinson, Devonta Smith, and Cooper. Hunt, Julio, Conklin, Hawk. Yeah, what? Another great trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprised somebody would even take that. Again, I don't know how somebody would take this.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Hunt could be back this week. He returned to practice today as well. Was designated to return, but that doesn't necessarily mean he'll return this week. But, yeah.
So now lineup Lamar, CMC, Najee, Godwin, Chase, Hawk, Dionte, Pats, D, C.H. Smith, Cooper, and Kyler on the bench. I mean, trade one of those quarterbacks.
Did he say that his trade deadline was over?
Oh, yeah. Yep, you're right. Well, certainly not dropping that to help out another playoff contender, so it's going to play the matchups each week.
Yeah.
Well done. Really, really nice. A flurry of moves there to improve the starting lineup. RD rocking with us. What's good, gents? Ingram, Freeman, or Darrell Henderson, full PPR. Already have Monty locked in.
It's Darrell Henderson.
Yeah.
I don't think Mark Ingram is going to play. He hasn't practiced at all this week. He still has a shot to play. I would even think if he did play, he's probably going to be limited because they're coming off such a short week of from this to Thursday, but I don't think he's going to play. Like I would be like if you're like running out, like this is a situation for Ronnie's team where you would need to do this. But if you have a flex spot where you don't really feel great about it, I would add Tony Jones. Like Tony Jones is widely available. And so like I would think about adding him. I mean, it's not a great matchup against the Buffalo Bills, but at the same time, we've seen a lot of running backs smash that Buffalo Bills defense. And I think they might be getting one of the two their offensive tackles back. Ramczyk is questionable. So, but if they don't have anybody else, like I think you can see Tony Jones heavily involved in the passing game as well. So I don't mind that as an ad this week ahead of tomorrow's news.
I don't know if I would have the cojones to do that. Uzi, Cousins to a Heineke or Tyrod this week. So we got Cousins against San Fran, Heineke against Seattle. Two going up against Carolina. Who's the other one?
Tyrod against the Jets.
I
think I'm gonna go Kirk Cousins here.
Yeah, I'm going Cousins as well. Surprised that line opened that high. Wow. That line opened up with Vikings as 6.5-point dogs.
And they're going to be in some trouble too. They're missing some key pieces on that defense for the Vikings, so which should open it up to be able to more scoring, which would be good for Cousins because Everson Griffin is not going to play this week. With whatever situation that happened today with the standoff outside of his house and posting stuff to Instagram, whatever. So he's not going to play. So that's just another key loss on that defense. And so that defense is going to be hurting this week.
Yeah. 6.5 points though feels like that's heavy. I wish I would have seen that when that opened. Yes, I'm going Cousins there as well. Well, maybe not because Abraham now has another trade question. Would you trade Godwin and Devonta Smith for Steph Diggs?
No,
I would not.
I think he said it's at midnight. Is what he dropped in the chat. So,
yeah, I'm keeping Godwin and Devonta Smith there. Another one here for Uzi, half PPR, Ty Johnson or Damien Harris.
Give me Ty Johnson.
I'm going Damien Harris. I can't.
It just worries me with Damien Harris because I think he's already somebody that doesn't catch passes, and now he's splitting touches with Ramondre Stevenson, and so that does concern me with him. Now he's really touchdown or bust. Now don't get me wrong. I mean, Ty Johnson could also not work out, but he is heavily involved in the passing game. Now this is a half PPR, so that lowers it a little bit. But I just think Ty Johnson is just a better player. And I think he's going to get more opportunities with Michael Carter out for an extended period of time. So for this week, and I like the matchup too, against the Texans. I mean, that's how you beat the Texans is on the ground. They're passing off. Their pass offense is decent, middle of the road, but their run defense is terrible. So
if he were going to be splitting time with Tevin Coleman, I'd feel a little bit better about it, but I think we see Tevin Coleman on the early downs and Ty Johnson as the passing down back. And I just don't see the Texans jumping out far enough that, like Ty Johnson is all of a sudden going to get a 60-40 split instead of like a 40-60. If that were, if we were talking like Jets Bucks, something like that where we can see them jump out to a big lead. I think I could get there, but even with Damien Harris's ceiling being limited, like we know he's gonna get 10 opportunities. I don't know if we can say the same for Ty. AO coming through.
Oh, we didn't answer his question. I got trigger happy.
So we need 3 here for Anthony coming through with the super chat. We appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving. Mixon, Monty, my goodness. Mixon, Monty, Najee, Saquon. Who are you sitting here? My goodness.
We're not sitting Najee. I'm not sitting Mixon. So it comes down to David Montgomery and Saquon. Here's the tough part. It is a great matchup for the Lions. It's also a great matchup for the Giants. Rushing. Philly has not been very good against the run. The Lions
They've been better than the past couple weeks.
Yeah, but here's the big problem for me is that David Montgomery is not involved in the passing game at all. He's had 3 targets since he's been back. I think on the year he only has 11 targets. So he's touchdown.
Here's the other problem. Freddie Kitchens is not calling plays.
It can't be any worse than Jason Garrett.
Are you sure? Yeah, I mean, if it comes down between Saquon and Monty, I can't park Saquon on the bench. But it's closer than it should be. I will say that.
Yeah, it's just Montgomery just touchdown or bust. Because if he doesn't score a touchdown, you're looking at 7 points. And right. Saquon only rushed the ball 6 times and still scored 11 points because he was so involved in the passing game.
Right.
And so it's just he's just far more involved in the passing game. And now if this was a standard league, then my opinion would be completely different, and I would say start Monty. But with this being, I would assume a full PPR, it's Saquon. I can't sit Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I can't either. But that is closer than it should be. What a shame for Saquon. Uzi, 49ers D or Bengals D? Can you pick up the Bears?
Yeah, I don't really like either one of them, to be honest. If I had to go with one, it'd probably the Bengals, but I don't like it. I like actually the Texans D this week, to be honest, with Zach Wilson likely starting. And the Texans actually the last 2 weeks, they put up like 14 fantasy points and 17 fantasy points over the last 2 weeks. But I like but if I had to pick one here, I'm going Bengals.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through the matchups to see if anybody stands out that might be available. Yeah. Like I said, Bengals, but don't love it.
Fantasy Gurus. What's up, guys?
Let's go.
I was offered Mixon, Dak, and Jefferson for Hurts, McCaffrey, and Mooney. Should I accept? I have James Robinson, Tyreek Hill, and Goodwin as my other starters. Godwin, other starters.
Offered Mixon, Dak, Jefferson.
No.
Hurts, McCaffrey, Mooney.
Hurts has been a walking QB1 this year. And I don't think there's a big difference between Dak. And so then Mixon to CMC. At CMC, it's not close. Now, you are getting Jefferson, which is a nice piece there too. But I just cannot give up Christian McCaffrey unless I'm being blown away, and this is not being blown away.
Yeah. Yeah, this is probably like semi-fair. But
wait a second, though. I think, but how would it change your opinion, although, if this is a standard league? Because I'm pretty sure this is a standard league. I think for Fantasy Gurus, because I'm pretty sure he plays standard. I think I could be wrong.
No,
because if it was a standard league,
it still really wouldn't. Meanwhile, you're leaving 6 points on the table. You know what I mean? McCaffrey.
Yeah, I probably still wouldn't.
Yeah. Like you said, if you're
standard, it would be much closer though, and standard makes it much closer.
Yeah. I would agree that it makes it closer, but like you said, if I'm trading McCaffrey, I basically need a Godfather deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something that you look at and you're like, okay, I would be dumb if I didn't take that. Yeah, I'm keeping the McCaffrey side there. Karn, half PPR sitting at 5 and 6. Which wide receiver are we sitting? Deebo, Dionte, Claypool, and Devonta.
Claypool.
Yeah. I can't start 2 Steeler receivers. So by default, Claypool is going to be the guy who rides the pine. But I actually do like Chase Claypool. I think is the nicest thing I've ever said about him. I do like Chase Claypool this week, but not over those guys. Marcus holding it down for us over on FB. I guess we should start calling it meta now. Start Knox on Thursday over Elijah Moore, Dionte Johnson, Gallup, Curtis Samuel. Yeah, I'm not messing with Curtis Samuel. Montgomery. Okay, so let's start there. Knox over Elijah Moore. I'm assuming that's Dionte Johnson, Gallup.
No, but if that's Dearness Johnson, yes.
Correct. Montgomery Thursday over Dalvin, Aaron Jones, Devonta Freeman, Ty Johnson.
Over Ty Johnson, yes.
Yeah.
And over Devonta Freeman, honestly.
Right. So it'd be Cook, Monty, Aaron Jones, if you can start 3 of those. Yeah, you're getting Monty in there. Monty's going to be your second back. Who knows if Aaron Jones comes back and not at this point. That's not something I would want to mess around with. Because then if you I would rather drop down from Montgomery to Aaron Jones than an Aaron Jones to Devonta Freeman or Ty Johnson.
Right. And one just not housekeeping, but one just little piece of advice, and I'm sure most people know this, but people that don't. Never start a player on Thursday in your flex spots. Always start them in your starting spots because you want to be able to have the flexibility to be able to swap things in and out of your flex. You don't want to have somebody stuck in that. Same thing with noon players or 3 o'clock players. I always try to make, or Sunday night games or Monday night games. Always try to put your, the last game that you can into that flex spot. That way, if you ever need to make any decisions or moves, because COVID pops up at any moment and stuff like this, all this stuff that could possibly pop up, and I don't want to be caught, and being forced into playing a certain position.
Right. Good call. Good point. Another one here for Karn, a full PPR. Unfortunately, played JT last week. That hurts. Need one running back, one wide receiver, and a flex. So running back, we have Hunt, Gaskins. So who are we going there?
Yeah, as long as Hunt plays, it's Hunt.
Yeah. One wide receiver out of McLaurin, Pittman, Devonta, and Ayuk.
I'm going to go McLaurin. And then my flex, this is going to be Pittman.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Aquaman. One running back, full PPR, Javonte or David Johnson.
Javonte.
Yeah. In a really, really nice spot. Javonte, for show. Would you do AB and Edmonds for Najee? Have Ekeler and Barkley wide receivers of Deebo, Dionte, Devonta, and Claypool.
If you're getting Najee, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I would have hit that accept button as soon as it came through.
Yeah. Another nice trade. Traded Collins and Knox for Dionte. Now you're going to get AB and Edmonds for Najee. If you're getting Najee, yes. Jorge Senor TD. Pick 2. Najee, Monty, Swift. Who are we sitting out of this group?
You're sitting Montgomery. There's just no way you can't sit Swift. Swift has been so damn good this year, and we're not sitting Najee versus anybody. He's just, is the offense, or at least in terms of the backfield touches. And then it comes down to Monty and Swift, and Swift, and now Swift is being utilized so much more as a runner too. A couple weeks ago he had 30 carries or whatever, some insane number. So if he's getting all of this work now, then Swift is just an absolute mortal lock. And the Bears are not very good against the run, and so the Bears aren't really good against anything. So, to be honest, and
tight end. Tight end.
And one more play that that I think is in play this week. How about some Josh Reynolds? He's back with the Lions. Played 90% of the snaps last week. Has the rapport with Jared Goff already built in. I don't know. Kind of an interesting little nugget there for this week. And a really good matchup against a really bad Bears secondary.
I could get there in DFS. I don't know if I could get myself to do that. That would have to be a 14, 16 team league, or I'm just decimated by injury.
Yeah. I don't know. Just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, like I think it's interesting for DFS for sure, because he's probably close to,
he is
his price. He is.
Yeah, he's $3K.
Yeah. TX416 rocking with us. Who do I start between T, Devonta Smith, Ayuk? Half PPR.
I'm going to go Devonta Smith. T. Higgins is more of a wide receiver, low-end wide receiver 3/4 for me right now. He has just not really done anything. He has been. We keep waiting for him to have this good week, and it just hasn't come to fruition. He's like wide receiver 36 or 37 in scoring right now, and so he just hasn't really been that great.
Yeah.
He's okay. I think he's like a safer option, but with the options that you have here, I'm going Devonta Smith. I had Devonta Smith as a top 20 wide receiver this week.
Yeah, I like Devonta Smith there as well. Would you drop Arob to scoop up McKissie?
No.
Yeah, can't do that. AB. Let us know if you have anyone else you could. There has to be somebody else you can drop over Arob. I can't do it for McKissie. All right, coming down to the wire here for Abraham with the trade deadline at midnight. Who should I try to get if I trade Kyler or Lamar?
I want to feel like that that Abraham is like sitting in a war room somewhere. He's got like all these monitors set up, and he's got like a couple phones and he's
I was
working
going to
the
say
phones.
3 phones.
Yeah, just working the phones, calling different people. Hey, I got this. How do you feel about this? Going back and forth. Hey, I just got an offer over here. I feel like that's where Abraham's at. At least that's where that's what I'm going to choose to believe is what's going on for Abraham right now, as he is just down to the waiver or the trade deadline in Abraham's league, and hopefully there's an Adam Schefter breaking news for Abraham's league, for the big trades going on. But
the push alert,
coming
through.
if I'm trading anybody, I would want to trade Kyler over Lamar, but I don't know exactly. But at this point, to be honest with you, I wouldn't feel bad about if you lost the trade on Kyler either, just because you're burning a roster spot with having both these guys, and you can't only start one every week. I know it's a nice problem to have be able to have 2 quarterbacks like this to be able to choose between every week. But I'm telling you, you're gonna end up getting it wrong more than you get it right, and trying to choose between these two, and it's just gonna be frustrating. And I would rather just get something for them while you can, because you're not gonna drop them. You can't drop them because you're just giving somebody else something for free.
Correct. Yeah, Abraham, if you're sitting there in your war room, I would just put the message out that Kyler or Lamar is available. And if you get one of those offers that blows you away for Lamar, go ahead and do it. But I agree with Kev. I'd want to trade Kyler at this point and just kind of see if you can create a bidding war amongst your league and see if you can, send Kyler off to somebody. I would also want to keep Lamar.
Or send out reach out to your league insider and tell them to float it out there that Kyler is available via trade, to see what comes in.
Breaking report: Abraham is listening to offers on Kyler Murray. Uzi in a flex spot. Kev, your boy Tony Jones, Coleman, Burkhead, MVS.
Tony Jones, with the caveat that that Mark Ingram's out. I don't know. I still may go Tony Jones if Mark Ingram is playing. You have to remember, the Saints loved Tony Jones. That's why they cut Latavius Murray, was because they felt so comfortable with Tony Jones, and so he got hurt, and then that's why they brought in Mark Ingram. But I don't mind Tony Jones. And like I said, I think he's probably going to see a lot of pass. I mean, Tevin Coleman's a fucking bum. It makes me sick just looking at Tevin Coleman or Rex Burkhead. Both of them are terrible options. I don't think you can trust the Texans at all that any of these guys are going to get how much opportunity they're going to get. It's always been a complete carousel. And it's not, I get it. It's a great matchup, but man, Rex Burkhead, it just doesn't really do anything for me. MVS, I don't mind. But he's so boom or bust when it comes to 2 touchdowns, he's touchdown or bust, because he's not somebody that's going to see a lot of volume and that offense. So I'm going to take the guy who's probably going to be the starter. And that's Tony Jones.
I would much rather go MVS or Burkhead. Like I said, they cut Phillip Lindsay after only playing 2 snaps. I think you can probably comfortably say that Burkhead's going to get, 10 or so carries at least, in a matchup that bodes well for him. If you don't want to go there because of the low floor, and that's what I was saying to Uzi in the Discord earlier, the ceiling is not great. But I feel like he's, at least locked in for some touches. I would rather just go MVS there. I can't. I can't.
What would you project Tony Jones' ceiling to be?
I don't know, man.
Because I think it's in the 20s. I think I can see him get there. If he's the only guy, Kamara and Mark Ingram are out. I mean, they still have Washington and they have Ty Montgomery. That's all they got. So Tony Jones could relatively see 70% probably of the touches in this backfield. And he's got to get the goal line work. He's just going to get everything. And so I don't mind going with Tony Jones. I like Tony Jones as an option here. And like I said, this Bills run defense isn't that great.
I mean, outside of Jonathan Taylor just absolutely smacking, running their dicks into the ground, the Titans 146 total rushing yards, the Chiefs 120 total rushing yards, and then no other team over 80.
Who were the other
next
teams?
closest was 79, the Jags.
Who were the other teams?
Steelers, Dolphins, Washington, Houston, KC, Tennessee, Miami again, Jacksonville again, the Jets, and then the Colts.
So a lot of bad teams.
I mean, Najee, only 75 yards total. I don't know what Najee had, but that was 75 total rush yards that first week.
Yeah, but if you remember that game, that was the first game of the year, and that's when they got down early, and they had to come back in the second half. So you're not going to be able to run the ball that much. And some of that plays into the reason of, especially earlier in the year, where they were just smashing teams, and you weren't able to run on them.
They lost that game, big dog.
Who? The Bills?
The Bills lost to the Steelers.
I know, but wasn't it the Bills got up early and they came back and won? Isn't that what happened? Weren't the Steelers down?
They were only down 10-0 in the first half.
Well, it's still enough that you're not going to be able to just pound the rock. But I don't know. That's where I sit with it. Listen, none of them
are the longest
discussion
we.
None of them are great options. Tevin Coleman is. I can't do it. And
no, I'm not going Coleman. I'm not going Coleman. It's either Burkhead or MVS.
If you want to shoot for MVS for another week of scoring a long touchdown, I don't mind it. But I just think Tony Jones is probably going to see the most volume.
Bless you. Michael Brown, pick one, running back and a flex. Zeke, Monty, Dillon, DK. Wide receivers are Keenan and Dionte Johnson. RB1 is Ekeler in a PPR league. Zeke and DK for me.
If Aaron Jones is out,
If Aaron Jones is out, I would go Zeke and Dillon. But I'm locking in Zeke for tomorrow. Wasn't on the final injury report. 7.5-point favorites.
That's what worries me is a lot of times on these Thursday games, we see some weird stuff happen, and I really wouldn't be all that surprised if the Cowboys limited Zeke's touches with having Tony Pollard available, and he's not as utilized as we are used to. But I don't know. I love Monty this week. It's just I feel like he's going to end up coming. This is going to come back, and we're going to tell all these people are just going to end up sitting Monty, and it's going to be a problem because he's in such a great spot. So this is how I would probably go Zeke and DK, like you said. But I don't feel great about it.
Yeah, I still think that's the play. I still like Zeke even if his touches are limited. That Raiders run D has not been great.
Zeke has not been great this year. Like he's been like very. I shouldn't say that. Like he hasn't been what like you would like. He's been a low end RB1 this year. He doesn't really have a great ceiling, and I don't know. I just don't really love Zeke. Like he's okay. He's kind of one of those, but he's not gonna be a guy that's gonna win you your league. You know, he's good. He's safe option, but he doesn't really have that 40-point upside or 35-point upside in him because he's splitting so much touches with Tony Pollard. And so I don't know. Like, it's just, I would be looking to trade Zeke if I could, be honest with you.
I don't mind that. User dropped Jeff Wilson for Ty Johnson.
I think you can. I mean, if you want to hold on to Jeff Wilson just because it's the better offense, I don't mind that. But I mean, Elijah Mitchell sounds like he should be back, and so I don't mind taking a shot on Ty Johnson to see what they do with him moving forward. And the other guy, really, that it hasn't gotten a lot of buzz this week, which is kind of surprising to me, but I've picked up in every league that I've could, and that's DJ Dallas. I've got him pretty easily, and I think he's going to take over this backfield. There's been some Seahawks beat reporters talking about that he's earned the right, that he's probably going to, and the Seahawks have probably seen enough out of Alex Collins. Alex Collins, a free agent. They need to figure out what they have in DJ Dallas. They're kind of where they're set. That they're very well could turn to DJ Dallas to be the starting running back here.
Yeah, I would like to see it. He was someone who I liked, coming out 2 years ago. I think I'd be interested in seeing what he could do in a full-time gig. Start 2, Van Jefferson, Bateman, Claypool for AB.
Bateman and Claypool.
Yep. Going there as well. And the Gurus are full PPR.
Okay.
Just going forward. Tomas. Should I start Hawk or Patty Fry as my tight end? Start there.
I'm going to go Hawkinson.
I want to say Patty Fry, but I think Hawk's the play.
Yeah, I would really hate myself if Hawkinson all of a sudden goes out and drops a 25 burger on my head.
Right.
This Bears situation is going to be interesting because we had the reports come out this week that Matt Nagy is likely going to be fired after this game, which would be the first time in their over 100-year history that they've ever done this. But I don't know how this is going to play. Like, you could really see with all these problems. I mean, do the Bears struggle? Jared Goff's capable enough, and we've seen the Lions be able to keep up with everybody. And the Bears are only a 2.5 point favorite in this game. It's not like the Bears are 7 or 8 point favorites here. I mean, this is a very close score or close total. And so I don't know. I just can't set Hawkinson, and I feel better about it with Jared Goff playing.
Pittman, Davis, Bateman. Pittman for me as well. Is CeeDee Lamb playing? If so, where do you rank him?
I think he's going to play. I was really encouraged. The fact that he practiced today.
And apparently he's been hitting all the other benchmarks that he needs to hit.
Yeah, which is funny because one of the Twitter doctors or YouTube doctors, however you want to look at it, has been adamant, going out of their way this week trying to say that CeeDee Lamb wasn't going to play. There's no way. First, he put something out about, he has to wait 5 days, so there's no way he can play on Thursday. So he's already ruled out. And of course, that's wrong. That's just not correct information. And then since then, all week, he's just been doubling down that there's no way he's going to play. And even though reports every day we've gotten more and more positive, it sounds like he's going to play. I digress. I just thought that was really funny to watch. But that's what you call take lock, boys and girls. Don't listen to people that get caught in take lock. Anyways,
if he plays, he's a wide receiver 1.
Yes.
Back end wide receiver 1.
If he plays, this isn't a knee injury. This isn't an ankle injury. This isn't something like that where he could play a snap and re-injure it and he's out for the rest of the game, right? So we're not worried about any of that. It's a concussion. Obviously, concussion matters. We don't see what the concussion. I don't want to trivialize it, but it's not something that's going to reoccur and pop up all of a sudden. Unless he gets popped in the head again, I guess. But overall, though, it's not something to worry about. So if he's playing, you're starting up with absolute confidence, and especially in a pretty good matchup against the Raiders.
Yeah. Pittman over Fournette and Sanders at the flex.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the play as well. I wish they would just give Sanders all of those touches in the backfield.
I actually like Sanders quite a bit. Like, I have Sanders ranked ahead of Fournette. I have Sanders ranked 15th. I like Sanders this week. It's just Michael Pittman, especially in a matchup against the Bucks, where they are. I would really be shocked if they get out and just lay the pipe to the Bucks like they did to the Bills. I don't think it's going to happen, and so I think it's going to be a back and forth. They're going to have to throw the ball a lot more, and so that's why I just like Pittman a lot.
Agreed. Ingram or Gronk for SZ?
I would tell you that one, I would want to go Ingram if he plays, but if you can, I would have Tony Jones on the bench ready to go if something happens, because it's very possible that Ingram is not going to play.
Yeah, I'd probably just go Gronk there regardless.
I just don't love that because Gronk does not play very much. He's out playing a ton of snaps. And so I don't know. I just don't I guess if you have to, go Gronk, but it could just go wrong so many different directions. I guess he played 63% of the snaps, ran 23 routes last week, but so I don't mind it. If you, I think Gronk's is not a bad option. But so that's kind of where I would stand with it. But I just don't think Ingram's going to play.
Yeah, and I can't play Tony Jones over Gronk. Antonio Lopez, would you trade Mixon for Barkley and DK?
Yes.
Yep, doing that as well. Dionte and Devonta Smith for Diggs.
No.
Yeah, not doing that. Not doing that one either.
Let's go, Abraham. I want picks. Send picks.
Picks didn't happen.
Yeah.
Another question here for Antonio. I have Wilson and Burrow. Should I trade one, and which one?
You should, but it's just going to be hard because both of them are coming off really, really poor performances. And so I don't think you're going to get as much as you would want. I say, depending on when your trade deadline, I think for the most people, I think this year, the kind of the default trade deadline was December 3rd, I think. I was kind of looking around at that. Obviously, every league's different. Some people set their own. If you have time to wait until after this week, I would wait until after this week and hope both of them have good weeks, and then you can trade one of them then. I would prefer to trade Burrow if I had to, but I think both of them they're not too far away from each other. So,
yeah, I think Wilson definitely has the higher ceiling. We've seen that the Bengals kind of want to be a more balanced team, and they'll put Burrow at as much risk. So that would be the one. Again, Antonio, this is a situation where, like with Abraham, I would just put the message out, say they're both on the block, and kind of just see what the best one you can get. Because I wouldn't mind holding on to Burrow either. This one here from Karn looks as now I'll be playing round one of the playoffs. I have Pittman, Devonta, Gesicki, and Gaskins on a bye.
Wait, your league didn't set your league set started the playoffs week 14. That's I would be furious. I would lose it because that's ridiculous. Why we have the extra week now? Why wouldn't you have started the playoffs 15, 16, 17? It's just screwing people over. It's gonna be so tough. I mean, because there's 4 teams on bye week 14. I mean that's I don't know. League commissioners, and I hope you're not the league commissioner, Karn, but. Because it just shouldn't happen. Like we start playoffs week 15, so all the buys are done, and because first round of playoffs and having that many players on bye, and I mean those are some pretty decent players. I mean Pittman's a wide receiver 2, Devonta's turned into a wide receiver 2, so we have 4 rounds of playoffs. Still, wait, you played a week 18? Oh, you're one of those people. But yeah, so
it's what 4 weeks of 4 weeks of playoffs.
I wonder if they're, because I know some leagues will make it to where it's like 2 weeks.
For each matchup.
Yeah. It could be that.
Man. Well, either way, should Karn trade one of these by players?
Oh, yeah, you're right. My math is terrible, Karn. Good call. It'd be 5 weeks. Does the guy, whoever, well, I guess obviously we don't know that. I mean, I guess you could make a trade, but if I did, because you still have, I mean, your other wide receivers, you got Diggs, TMC, so you're good there. That's not the end of the world. Depending on who you have left on your team that you would be looking to start, I would just try to start. If you're already locked in, I would start to really prepare. I mean, if you want to trade Gaskins and Gesicki, I don't mind it, but I don't think you have to either. I don't think it's a must.
Yeah. Should probably be okay. But if you can upgrade, always look to I wouldn't downgrade just because it's your bye week. Ryan Evans, Connor on bye, Michael Carter injured. Either have to play Boston Scott, Dontrell Hilliard, or Matt Breida in a PPR.
Tony Jones.
If Ingram doesn't play, I finally might be with you.
Yeah, right. Again, I keep saying it. Is Tony Jones available, or even DJ Dallas? Are either one of those available? I think I would feel just a little bit more confident because I don't know what to expect from Boston Scott. I think Miles Sanders actually would have played more had he not fumbled that game. And that's really what was, because at the point that the fumble happened, he was Jordan Howard only had 1 or 2 carries at that point whenever the fumble happened, and Miles Sanders had 10. When the fumble happened, I think as long as that doesn't happen, I don't think we're really having a conversation. I don't really trust any number 2 running back for the Philly anyway. The other part with Hilliard is I don't know how this is going to play, because I thought last week Dionte Foreman would have made a ton of sense, and then they that all of a sudden Hilliard out of nowhere really got on the practice squad and just comes out and just takes the role from everybody. So he seems like a logical choice, but they're playing the Patriots defense, and so I don't really know kind of what to expect from him. And then Matt Breida, I don't mind him as a bench stash because he very well could take over this backfield. We've seen Breida actually be productive. I mean, when he was with the 49ers there for that year, I remember he would just get hurt almost every other week, or he would come off the field like he was going to get hurt, and then he would somehow magically play the next week, every single week. But he was leading the league in rushing there for a really long span for that year. So he's not a bad running back. So I don't mind holding on to someone like him as a bench stash. But if I had to play somebody, I'd probably go Hilliard here if of the options that you have.
Yeah.
But I also would probably rather drop Scott and pick up somebody like a DJ Dallas, who, like I said, tied with Alex Collins for that backfield last week with 37% of the snaps, each one of them. But I think very well could be the starting running back moving forward, or a short-term option in Tony Jones.
Yeah, I agree with all that. It's Hilliard if you have to make that play. But I look to see who else is available.
Because you have to, Boston Scott only played last week. What was it? 35% of the snaps, I think it was, if I remember correctly. So
yeah, but he also had. It was really odd. He played the second most snaps, but had the least amount of carries.
Yeah.
Whereas Jordan Howard had less than 50. I think he had 13 snaps, and he saw 10 carries on those 13 snaps. So it's just really odd behind.
Yeah, he only played
standards.
17% of snaps.
Yeah, really odd. Here we go. Thanksgiving trade question. Would you trade stuffing for cornbread and green bean casserole?
Yes. I would
It
do
depends.
it for I would do it for the cornbread. I hate stuffing.
It depends on the stuffing. Aqua, can we get clarification here? Is this actually like good homemade stuffing, or is this some stovetop bullshit out of the box? That would make the difference. If this is like stovetop bullshit, give me the cornbread and GBC.
Well, while we got everybody here, what is everybody's ideal Thanksgiving plate look like?
Oh,
because mine is definitely ham. Turkey is trash.
I knew you were going to start there.
Okay, turkey is dry. It's just not good. Okay, no place for it. But ham, sweet potato casserole, some mashed potatoes. Maybe a roll. Whatever. I can't really think of anything else. That mac and cheese, always amazing. Yeah.
Turkey, mashed potatoes with the noodles. Got to have the noodles. The green bean casserole. And I don't know how common this is, but my wife makes this like fucking awesome. I think it's called like corn confetti. It's like corn and bacon and like some kind of like maybe like a heavy cream kind of sauce. Phenomenal. So good. Stuffing on there.
I'm right there with you, Justin. He said, "Ugh, man, with the noodles." What do you mean with the noodles? I don't know what that means. You put noodles in your mashed potatoes?
Yeah, you put them on top. What are you talking about?
I have never heard of that.
Yeah, you take like the fat like butter noodles. Yeah, make the little crater in your taters. You put the noodles on top. What do you? Come on.
Chat. Let me know. Am I the only one that I have never heard of that before ever? That is new to me. I was just seeing a lot of.
Am I alone?
Because I'm like, noodles. What are we talking about? Like I've heard of gravy. People putting gravy on it, but not noodles.
Noodles with the
is that a Yinzer thing? Is that something that
maybe it might be? The chat's gonna have to let me know.
We don't claim him.
Who's this we? Who said that?
Justin.
Justin, are you a Yinzer? Did I not know this? Anyway, Eagles the Cowboys the for said Justin. Who we got?
Eagles.
Yeah, give me the Eagles there. Ekeler, Dionte Harris, Traquan available in free agency.
I'm gonna go Traquan
from Uzi. So I'm just scrolling up. Okay, so I think this is also going along with the Tony Jones Burkhead MVS question. I think I still like when you're looking at a group of people like that, like I'm just gonna swing upside. Like I would just rather have MVS. Chaser Dillon at the flex, full PPR.
Well, I guess we'll answer that assuming that either way, it's Jamar Chase. I'm going Jamar Chase.
Even if Jones sits.
Yeah.
Interesting. I thought this was going to be Dillon for you.
And it's not really a recency bias with just what just happened. But it is against the Rams. And I mean the Rams are a good enough run defense. And I just don't feel great about the matchup. And so yeah, I would probably just lean Jamar Chase.
Okay. That's where I would go too as well, but I'm surprised. I thought for sure you would have said Dillon there. Oh my God. Matt Gay or Greg the Leg? I think Matt Gay's Rams, right? Or am I making that up?
No, I believe you're correct, but I will go. Yeah, no, you are correct. Yeah.
Rest of season.
Oh, for rest of season?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go Matt Gay.
I would look and see how many more home games the Cowboys have. Kind of use that as your. Or wait, I guess the Rams play in an arena now too. They don't play out in the open. That's how I would do it. How many more stadium games? How many more roofed? The fuck is the word I'm looking for? Why am I so? Yes, dome. Jesus Christ, why am I so dumb right now? There's how you pick, Justin. That's how I would pick. How many dome games?
Walito in here
Look at Walito
dropping the $20 Canadian pesos. Happy Thanksgiving all. Hope everyone has a good time. Spends a good time with their family. Eat well. Make sure to have fun. And most importantly, be grateful for what you have. Unfortunately, not everyone can enjoy a huge meal. Well said, Walito. I would 100% agree. I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving. And just enjoy it. We've had a rough last couple of years. And, just try to enjoy this time with the fam. Or if you can't, just try to find something to do. And, try to have a good day tomorrow. We got a full day of football. Starting from like 11:30, I think is when the first game starts.
12:30 actual time.
Well, I'm thinking my time.
12:30 real time.
Central. Okay, and then it's gonna go all night. So we got football all day.
Yeah, I was just gonna say if you're not able to spend time with family, join the Discord. I'm sure the Discord will be popping, so we'll help keep you company if you're not able to spend time with family. So join the Discord. Walito, when's the Canadian Thanksgiving? What are you doing tomorrow, Walito?
They have something. I know they do.
I think they have something.
Is it Boxing Day? I can't remember what it is. They have something. I know they do.
When were the Pilgrims in Canada, Walito? When did that happen? I know we had another
October 11th is when it was.
Is it the same thing? Is it like the same basis?
Canadian Thanksgiving happens a full month and a half before American Thanksgiving on the second Monday in October.
Walito, what do you guys eat? It has to be slightly different, right? There's no way it's like Thanksgiving meal is just the same across.
As a fellow Canadian, our Thanksgiving isn't nearly as impressive. Same stuff. Oh, I do appreciate that they have it on a Monday. Like that's low key. Like ours is always on Thursday. It's like the last Thursday or second to last Thursday of the month of November. Like Monday's always smart. You just get a longer weekend, So things you learn, But yeah, I know that Thanksgiving does because when I was in the Navy, we actually were traveling with a Canadian ship. And we used to make fun of them all the time, and they try to make fun of us. And we almost got a fight with them actually, but they're no story for another day. But they, I think we joked around about that. We were out there at the same time. But fun fact: the Canadian Navy, they have bars on their ships, like full bar on their ship. And I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. We do not get this. So.
Hey, just learning things left and right here. A lot of Canadian history.
What I found was that they do not appreciate when you say Canada is just America's hat, and they did not find that funny. The people in the Canadian Navy,
and that's what led to World War III. Stephen Drake's coming through with the super chat. Appreciate you. Would you drop Foreman and pick up Hilliard? Foreman is hurt, so let's start there. Foreman is it's a tricep injury. He got into limited practice today, and I think it was a beat writer made the point of can't imagine they would have sent AP packing if they thought that he wouldn't be able to play this week. So I think Foreman will be fine.
Yeah, it's just tough because I have no idea what the Titans are doing with these guys. If I was gonna, so you said, would you stash Tony Jones? Like, I don't think you're stashing him because it's not like a long term thing, right? It's not something where he's all of a sudden going to take over some role. I mean, Kamara eventually is going to be back, and Mark Ingram should be back too, and so then Tony Jones to go back being nothing. If I'm going to stash somebody, like I've said, I've said it's DJ Dallas if he's available. And I feel like he is because there wasn't a whole lot of buzz for DJ Dallas or any excitement for DJ Dallas. And I think he really realistically could take over that backfield.
Yeah. And as far as Jeff Wilson, Elijah Mitchell got in a limited practice today. Obviously did not practice at all last week, so that bodes well for his return. So not Jeff Wilson. I think Foreman is your play here. And like Kev said, if you're stashing somebody, Tony Jones is not going to be a long-term option. So I would look elsewhere there. Appreciate you coming through with that, Steven. Hope you have a nice holiday. Trying to find where we left off here. Here we go. Back to Justin, Zeke, Monty, Dionte at the flex.
Justin, why can't we start? Why are we sitting Dionte? Who's the other wide receivers? You must have stacked wide receivers.
Stacked running backs as well. Man, full PPR.
Because I really want to start Dionte, but I think you got to go Zeke.
Yeah, well, I can't. Let us know the roster, Justin, if you're still rocking with us, and we'll try and help you out there. Alexis joining us. CeeDee Lamb practice. How should I set my lineup? One running back, one flex spot to include Harris, Barkley, Lamb. Oh boy.
Well, obviously Najee. Henderson, Barkley, and CeeDee is what it is. She just dropped it in there.
Okay. Man.
So I would go. I mean, I'm going Saquon over Henderson, and then I'd probably go CeeDee Lamb if he plays.
Yeah, I'm going Lamb in there as well. Just a question of which running back I wanted to sit. Yeah, Saquon and Lamb for me as well. Karn doing the Lord's work here in the chat while this is going on. Picked up Dallas.
Yes, DJ Karn to you.
Would you consider sitting either Keenan Allen versus Denver or Dionte versus Cincinnati for DK? It's so hard to trust that Seattle offense right now. But it's also not hard to love DK going up against Washington.
It's really close because I look at it like I'm not sitting Dionte. I just can't. His target share is so locked in, it doesn't matter. I can't sit him. But I would. I don't know. I can't really sit Keenan. So but if I was going to sit somebody for it, I would sit Keenan Allen for DK Metcalf.
Yeah, that's where I would lean as well. I don't know what his numbers are like now, but I know Denver's slot corner earlier on in the year was playing really well. I'm not sure how much that has changed or if that has changed since, but their slot corner, or I think maybe through like the first 4 or 5 weeks, have been playing really well. Like I said, I don't know what it is now, but that's where I would lean. Got that division game on the road.
He gets he's going to see the majority of.
Is it Callahan? Or am I making that up?
It is. Kyle Fuller.
Mm.
And then let me see. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Let me see how old Mr. Fuller's
You pull that up. I'm gonna keep rolling here.
So I am there. So on the season, I mean, Kyle Fuller has not been great. Kyle Fuller is allowing 109.5 passer rating, but only a 55% completion percentage with a 15.2 yards per completion, 320 yards with 3 touchdowns. So he struggled on the deep ball, but 21 completions on 38 targets so far this year. But that's only in 7 games. I might add. So not necessarily great. So it is a pretty solid matchup for Keenan Allen this weekend.
I would still lean that way though. With sitting Keenan forward.
I like all 3 a fair amount. I have all 3 as top 12 wide receivers this weekend.
But I think with those other 2, probably gonna keep them until I see it happen with DK.
Yeah.
Calcium oxide, Mooney, Waddle, or Eli Mitchell half PPR. The thing that sucks with this is you're not. I'm assuming Eli plays.
Even still, I'm going to go Jalen Waddle.
Oh, it's not what I was expecting.
Waddle's just been so good, and he continues to see a massive amount of targets every single week, and so it's hard to sit him. And I like Mooney a lot. Like he's one of my favorite wide receivers this week. But I just can't sit him. I mean, he saw another 9 targets last week, 8 receptions for 65 yards. Scored 20.6 last week. I mean, he's just been so damn rock solid that it's really hard to not play him. I mean, he's 6th overall. He's 6th in targets among all wide receivers this year. So I can't sit that. And 68 receptions, 5th most among all wide receivers. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we saw Darnell Mooney get 16 targets last week, but I just prefer Waddle. I can't sit Waddle.
I would roll Eli, assuming he plays, but I don't hate Waddle either. I lean the matchup for Eli going up against the Vikings. That's how I'd lean with the tiebreaker there. Another question here from Calcium Oxide. Bench Carr, Wilson, or Dalton? Superflex.
I mean, I assume we're just benching one. We're benching one, I would bench Zach Wilson.
Yeah. Benching Wilson there as well. Ty Johnson, a must start? No. Not a must start.
CHB, you're the man. Thank you for that question. I love Ty Johnson. He's not a must start, but I do. Listen, I think Ty Johnson, I think he could be a decent play. Okay. I mean, I think he is he is in the running as a flex option for sure.
Yeah. Decent play.
But he's not a must start.
Okay. Yes. There is a wide chasm between decent start flex play and a must start. We dropped Van Jefferson for McKissie.
No.
How important is it to keep running backs on the bench?
I want handcuffs. I want cuffs, but I don't think McKissick's really a cuff.
Yeah.
Like his role is probably not going to change. If Antonio Gibson went down, I think you would see Patterson step right in, and he would take that role, and then you would see McKissick stay in the same role he's in. So I'm not dropping Van Jefferson for McKissick.
I would not do that. I would not do that either. Will we trade away Zeke for Kelsey or Kittle? JT, Swift, Monty, Hunt.
I think you could get more than just one of those guys. Yeah, you could, but I think you would get more for either one of those. I think you could actually get something else thrown in on that to make that move a little bit better. And so I don't mind. Like I said, I would be looking to trade Zeke because he just doesn't have that type of like ceiling, right? And you are doing well, Justin, with JT and Swift.
Yeah.
So and Montgomery and Hunt. So I mean, you're fine at running back. You don't need Zeke. And so I would have no problem shipping him out if you're hurting at a wide receiver spot or tight end. But if I'm trading Kelsey or Kittle, I'm going to try to ask for a little bit more. You're not going to get like a much bigger piece, but I think you could get a secondary option. Whether that be a running back or wide receiver. The same thing that I'll continue to say is, who has Javonte Williams? Go look at that roster and see if you can make a move with that team and have Javonte Williams be included in the deal.
I don't think you're gonna get somebody like Javonte on top of that, though.
I don't know. I mean, Javonte hasn't done a whole lot. All right. Let me put it this way.
No, but it's not like you're buying Kelsey or Kittle low either.
Yeah, but running backs just carry so much more value in leagues, right? And so I don't think people are going to value them the same. And I could see Kelsey with people. He was struggling quite a bit there for a while, and so I don't know. I could see it. And again, the best thing you could do is, if you're going to trade Zeke, is go look at all the teams and figure out what team is really hurting at running back and exploit them there. And make your deal through that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you had to, I think you could trade. I wouldn't want to trade Zeke for. Zeke for Kelsey, I think you could definitely do, but Zeke for Kittle would be a little less appealing for me.
Yeah, I agree. Dr. Murdoch. 2 in a full PPR. MG3, the aforementioned Javonte, Freeman, or whoever starts for San Fran.
I'm going to go Javonte and whoever starts for San Fran, which is likely Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah. I just hate that Melvin Gordon's been getting all the touchdowns.
Oh, I know. I have been cussing at my TV every time it happens. Because Javonte just routinely rips off these just super impressive runs and does all this stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, we're at the goal line. Hey,
Melvin, where you at?
Yeah, come in here and plunge it in for 1 yard.
All right, top 5 defenses for the week.
I don't think the scoring matters.
Bears.
I would go Patriots.
Bills.
Pats. Bears. Eagles. Yeah, that's what? Patriots, Bills.
I think it was 4.
Bears, Eagles. And I guess Cowboys.
Yeah. Yeah. Marcos Valdez over on FB. Half PPR, tough flex decision this week. Dillon, Gallup, CPAT. Have we heard anything about CPAT? Although I guess it's Wednesday, so.
Yeah, I know. He was limited today,
Okay.
which it's Wednesday, so that's not really that big of a deal. Let's just assume he's playing, which we're going to have to make a decision because with Gallup, I would probably go with A.J. Dillon in this one.
Yeah. If Aaron Jones plays, are you just pivoting to Patterson, assuming Patterson plays?
Yes.
Okay. Steven coming through two-time super chat. Picking up Dallas, would you drop Dearness Johnson for him?
I think you can, yeah, because with Kareem Hunt coming back.
At least nearing a return.
Yeah, if he's not back this week, he'll definitely be back, the following.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming through on the two-time Steven. Justin, I'm still.
Not to mention, I will say this too. Dearness Johnson's actually on bye next week. So the Browns. That's what I thought. I just want to verify before I said anything. But so yeah, the Browns are on bye next week anyway. And so even if Kareem Hunt doesn't come back, it's only going to be for this week. And so, and then after that, he's definitely back in week 14. So yeah, you could definitely drop Dallas for Dearness Johnson, or drop Dearness Johnson for Dallas for sure.
Lucia, sorry we skipped over this one. Getting you now. Appreciate you coming through with the support as well. You guys are great. You guys are fantastic. Cam or Rodgers? Who would have thought that this would have been a question? I'm still going to go Rodgers there.
Yeah, I'm going to go Rodgers. It's really close to me.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that close, but it is Rodgers. And then what about Dak or Burrow?
As long as CeeDee Lamb plays, I'm going Dak.
Yeah, that is the tiebreaker there. Appreciate you, Lucius. Where are we at here? Have to win the last two games to secure the playoffs here for Karn. Team is Wentz, Ekeler, Barkley, Deebo, Dionte, Gronk, Devonta, AB, Emmons, Claypool, DJ, Dallas. Should I target any running back / wide receiver, or am I set?
No, I think that's a pretty solid team.
Yeah. Deebo, Dionte, Ekeler, Barkley. What happened
that surprised me when I was looking over stuff this week is that Carson Wentz is a top 10 scoring quarterback this year, and he's only rostered in like 40% of leagues, 45, something like that, percent of leagues.
Interesting.
The man does not get the respect that he deserves. That's all I'm going to say.
It's also really hard considering like Pittman is the only thing they have. As you know what I mean? As far as a receiving weapon. Like JT's been.
Yeah, well, the only thing with him is that they've had the weeks where they've really been able to handle, like last week, right? And Wentz didn't have to throw the ball that much. But like for 6 or so, I think it was 6 straight weeks, he had 2 or more passing touchdowns in 6 straight weeks.
Yeah.
So, I think this team really, I was kind of thinking about this because this is what I do when I'm in my days is just think about random stuff like this. But I mean, I'm not a Colts fan at all. And I was thinking, you know what? If the Colts next year could just get a really solid wide receiver too, like this team could be really scary with how good that offensive line is. They've locked up the entire offensive line for a really long period of time. And so that offensive line is one of the best in the league. If they can, and there's so many wide receivers available next year. I mean, a ridiculous amount of wide receivers are going to be available next year through free agency. And like, I think you get Chris Godwin next year. I mean, that would just be just 6 to midnight real quick because this team can be really, really good. And I hate the Chiefs for not drafting Jonathan Taylor when we drafted CEH, but that's neither here nor there.
Just imagine if Andrew Luck was still a quarterback. DJ or Elijah Mitchell?
Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah. And Mitchell's thing is a finger. It's not a huge deal. It's not like he's dealing with a knee sprain or a hammy or anything. So as long as Mitchell is good to go, you're definitely plugging in Mitchell over David Johnson.
But do people really even care as much about Black Friday anymore when you have Cyber Monday?
Yeah. I had to run to the store late, and I went to Walmart, and they were already staging for it, and they had the wrappers around shit that said not for sale until the 26th or whatever it was, and I was like, Jesus, man.
Yeah, and I could see more Black Friday shopping this year, like the immediate rush of it, because of the shipping issues that there's going on around the country, and just if stuff sells out, it's gonna be hard to get that stuff replenished. A lot of stuff just because we're seeing such a shortage on so many things. So I could see a little bit more people shopping this year, and I made the unfortunate decision. I know in my head, never go to the store on the day of or the day before a holiday, especially like Thanksgiving or Christmas, because it was stupid. And of course, I made the unfortunate decision of waiting until today, and this was 11 a.m. because I had today off. I took off. I'm off the rest of the week, and I walk in and I'm like, this was a terrible decision. It's just a madhouse, and it's 11 a.m. on a Wednesday.
That sounds awful. Bateman, Mike Williams. Who do we got here for Lucius? Yeah, Mike will here for me as well. CB needed defense this week, left it open last week to pick up running back, lost by 2. Patterson, Mitchell, Kamara Henderson on a bye, Murray out, had to pick up QB. Drop Higgins or Renfro?
I guess Renfro.
Man, are you carrying a second tight end? Or maybe there's just a smaller league as well? Man. Yeah, I guess if I had to, it would be Renfro, but props for tomorrow. I'll be honest, Thomas, there's not a lot that I really love. I'm also licking my wounds from having a pretty bad week. I think David Montgomery, his rushing at 75.5 is fine. I don't love it. It's also just so weird to me. That game was only a 2.5, 3-point spread as well. So do they really just dominate and just feed Monty the Rock? Darnell Mooney, his receiving at 55.5. I think I might like that one a little bit more than Montgomery. The only thing that I have right now is Bills -6, but obviously that is not a prop. But that's kind of where I'm at. But Thomas, if you join the Discord, we have a sub chat just for props, and Walito is always in there dropping his. The other Thomas from the show is always in there talking about his as well. So you can always catch any additional props in that chat. Uzi, Aguilar, Dionte Harris, Traquan available in free agency. Pick them up or play MBS. I would just go MBS. Like I said, whenever we're in this group of guys, just give me the guy who has the most boom, and that's MBS. Amar, should I trade Fournette for Aaron Jones?
If you have 8 wins, you're pretty solid. I would say yes.
I think you can do that. What about this one for Kel? CEH for Gibby.
That's tough. I don't mind it. Like I've said, Antonio Gibson has one of the easiest, especially fantasy playoff schedules. It's a top 5 fantasy playoff schedule for him at the running back position. I think CEH is more in the like the middle of the pack because they're going to get. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I know that they're going to get the, believe the Broncos, the Bengals. I know are in there. I'll tell you exactly what their schedule is. Oh, the Steelers. Okay, so their playoff schedule is the Chargers, Steelers, Bengals is their playoff schedule. So the Chargers is a good matchup for them. Steelers, if they get everybody back by then, and then you get the Bengals. So it's not bad.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think I would probably keep CEH just because on this one, it's really close. I think both of them are fine rest of the season. I like Antonio Gibson. I've talked about him. But I think CEH offers just a little bit more.
Yeah, if we, if Washington would, like the preseason news that we heard of like, hey, they're going to use him like McCaffrey, blah, blah, CMC light, that hasn't come to fruition. So if you're looking at, 2 running backs that are both going to be, splitting touches or at least not getting the full allotment, give me the guy who's on the clearly better offense. ET, ready for this week, gents. So are we. Appreciate you rocking with us, Eric. Who do we like on defense, Bills or Pats?
Pats.
Sensei, Hawkinson or Logan Thomas if he plays?
I'm going Hawkinson.
Yeah, I'm going Hawk. I wouldn't want to mess around and wait for Logan Thomas with an option like Hawk. How do we feel about Dontrell Hilliard?
It's the same thing I said. Like I don't mind him. I think he could end up being the pass catching back like we saw. But we have to remember that Jeremy McNichols was also out.
Yep.
Whenever we saw that large workload in the passing game. I mean, I'll say this though about Hilliard. Like he is an athletic running back. Like he ran a 4.42 at his pro day. Even adjusted, it was 4.47. So that's 87th percentile. He's got good speed, good burst, good agility. Like he's not like necessarily a bad option. 5'11", 202. It's a little on the small side, but still big enough to be a back that takes over here. And so I think he's interesting. I think he's an interesting player to roster, but I don't know how they're gonna handle this with McNichols coming back plus Foreman being there. This could end up being like a 30% split. I mean, because last week, even without him, I mean, he did play 60% of the snaps. I don't think, but he only had 7 carries, but saw 10 targets.
Yeah, that was the issue, right? They fell behind, and that's why he jumped out. I don't know. I don't have this information off the top of my head, but I'd be curious to know when he joined the practice squad. Like if he were already on the practice squad whenever they went out and picked up Foreman and AP and immediately inserted them in, like that would like cool my Jets on Hilliard a little bit more because they could have, they could have just brought him up for the practice squad at that point and played him. I don't know when he was on the practice squad, but the reason why we saw as much of Hilliard as we saw last week was because they fell from behind early. I think we're behind that entire game. So that's why we saw as much Hilliard as we did. Yeah, he's fine. It would just depend on who you're dropping to pick him up or who you're potentially playing him over. But just be, if he goes out and puts up a gooser this week, don't be surprised. Zach Free, who should I start RB2, Freeman or Josh Jacobs? Yuck. I guess Josh Jacobs. I know the matchup isn't great for him going up against Dallas, obviously tomorrow, but Freeman is now going to be splitting time with Latavius Murray and Lamar. Cleveland's run D is better than their pass defense. So I'm going to go Josh Jacobs there and just cross my fingers and pray that this doesn't end up being like a random Kenyon Drake day.
Oh, this is definitely Josh Jacobs. I've actually really, really like him this week. It's actually a little bit surprising. He's actually been utilized more as a pass catcher. I mean, he's seen over the last 2 weeks 12 targets over the last 2 weeks, 10 receptions over the last 2 weeks, which is surprising because it's not something we've if you go last year, and we were talking about this a lot on the show last night. If you look at last year, he only had like 45 targets all of last year. He's already at 32 targets this year, and we're only in still quite a bit of the season, and he's only played in 8 games this year, so he's seen a lot more targets this year than we typically have seen from him, and so he's got 5 touchdowns. Like, give me Josh Jacobs in this matchup against the Cowboys. And I did want to mention, because I wanted to find out, so I went and found out. It looks like Hilliard's been on the practice squad, I think, all year, because even back when they placed Darrington Evans on IR, he was already on the practice squad then.
Okay. Yeah, so that's interesting to note. Oh, sorry. There was more there. Stars at wide receiver. We need 2 and a flex. Metcalf, Thielen, Gallup, Pittman.
So Metcalf, Pittman, Dillon.
Yeah. Dillon for me as well. Over to Caleb. Who should I start in my flex? AJB, Gaskin, or Elijah Moore?
It's probably AJ Brown, but it really worries me going against the Patriots, because what did the Patriots do? We know what they always do. They are going to take away your best weapon, and he is their only weapon. Right?
The best and the only one.
I can see them taking him completely away. I mean, but it's really hard to sit him. But if you want to, I don't mind sitting him for Elijah Moore. I really don't. I could see the Patriots completely taking him away and saying, you're going to beat us with your other guys. You're not beating us with AJ Brown. And AJ Brown does not have any opportunities here. And so I like Elijah Moore. I know Zach.
I might just do Elijah Moore anyway.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm going to do Elijah Moore, Caleb, for everything that Cav was just outlining there. Abraham got offered Jones and Diggs for Dionte, Devonta Smith, and Cooper. Hold up, Abraham. Let me scroll all the way up. So that would be CMC, Najee, Godwin, Chase, Clyde. So no other wide receivers. The only wide receivers would then be, let's say, Godwin and Chase. And then Diggs. So that would be.
I don't think so. I don't think you need to. I don't think I would do it. Aaron Jones just worries me. Aaron Jones is a home run waiting to happen. We know he's super efficient. None of those things are different. But if he does miss this week, now you're talking about you're not even going to get him to be able to utilize him until week 14, because they're on bye next week. And so, yeah, I probably would just say no. I want that depth. in case something happens and I lose somebody, because you become razor thin at wide receiver at that point. Now, I will say Diggs has played a lot better. I think weeks 1 through 8, he was like wide receiver 24. He's been wide receiver 6 from that point on. So he has been a lot better than what he was. But I think Dionte is a top 10 wide receiver moving forward. Devonta Smith is looking more and more like a top 20 wide receiver. And you can say the same thing about Cooper. And Aaron Jones, like I said, he does offer a lot in terms of ceiling, but you have a lot of good running backs already. And so, like, you don't really need Aaron Jones. It's not like this is a need.
Man. I want to say yes. It does become very thin.
I mean, if you want to make the move, I think you can make the move. Like, I don't think this is an egregious trade.
No, not at all. I mean, rolling out CMC, Najee, Jones when he comes back, Godwin, Chase. We have 9 minutes to tell Abraham what to do. Najee, CMC, Jones, Godwin, Chase, Diggs.
Like I said, if you want to make the move, I think you can. I mean, Aaron Jones.
That is too sexy to pass up.
Yeah.
I would do it. And then just you have to cross your fingers and pray that no one goes down, because then the only thing you're left with on your bench is Kyler Murray and Clyde. And obviously your trade deadline is over. I would do it. I would do it. Swing for the fences. Scared money. Don't make money. Would you do Ekeler for Swift and Evans?
Yeah.
Wow. I almost said happy early Thursday Thanksgiving. I don't know why that almost came out of my mouth. NASCAR Fantasy Live joining us. Need a third wide receiver, Waddle or Elijah Moore?
Waddle.
Waddle for me as well. Knox or Hawk? I'm going to go Knox.
I'm going to go Hawkinson.
And then what about the flex? One of the two we did not pick.
I would go Elijah Moore in the flex.
I would go Elijah Moore as well. So the only disagreement we have there is the tight end. I don't mind Hawkinson, but
and I can say the same thing about Knox. I think it's very close between the two of them. It's just I just think Hawkinson has just a little bit higher of a ceiling, right? I mean, he could see 12 targets tomorrow. I mean, it's just and it's a good matchup. Not that it's a bad matchup for Knox. It's just there's so many other weapons there in that offense. Like, and again, I don't mind Knox at all. But I just slightly prefer TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah. Fine with whatever decision you make there, Andrew. CB, I'm sitting Patterson, Mitchell, Kamara, Ingram, Sanders, Henderson, 2 QBs because we were asking if there was anybody else to drop for the defense.
Honestly,
you gonna say Ingram?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if Ingram doesn't play, CB. You could look to drop him. Obviously, you don't want to drop any of the other guys. So then it comes down to Ingram or Renfro.
I just hate to give up Renfro because Renfro's been so damn consistent in terms of his targets that he's seeing on a weekly basis. And
fucking last week.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it'd come down to those two guys for me on who you would drop. If you want to drop Renfro, I think that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Herbert or Hurts? Yeah, that one's close.
I'm gonna go Hurts.
Going Hurts as well. It's close. It's really close. I like I said, even with Hurts only throwing for fucking 90 yards some games, he still somehow ends up a fucking QB1 on the week. Alan C. traded Mitchell for A.J. Brown. Yay or nay?
I mean, if you have enough running backs and you're solid and you're good there, I think you can make the move.
It's my thoughts as well. Pick up Cortland Sutton, Jameson Crowder. I mean, which is fine, but like that's not near the talent level of the depth you have now. I'm still making the move, but like that's like as far as like depth goes, that pales in comparison to Dionte Cooper and Devonta Smith.
I mean, I would also say, it's like the old adage, scared money don't make money. We're looking to win the championship, not finish fourth. And so I think the move of trading for Aaron Jones and Diggs is that move. That's a home run swing.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a great Thanksgiving to you as well, CB. Well, Lita must not have seen it whenever you flashed it the other day, Kev. There it is, in all of its glory. We got Ape rocking with us on Twitch. Any last minute questions from the TFA fam? If not, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, like we said at the beginning, we will be back here again Friday night to do this, and we'll have much more information. By then we should have a pretty good grasp on like what's going on with Aaron Jones and some of these other guys, and and I'm sure there'll be some other news that comes out. It does every damn week. Friday turns out to be just this monster news day of players that we weren't really looking for.
I will let you read that one from Uzi, Kev, since you were the DK DFS guy. TX, Flex Dionte, or Miles. We like both this week, but I'm going to go Dionte there. Yeah. Over to the contrarian question, Kev. How do you feel about this lineup?
The 2 tight end build is going to make it contrarian as is. I think Dak is going to be contrarian. I mean, we're looking at Josh Allen's coming in somewhere around 50% of ownership, and Dak's only at like 25, which doesn't make any sense. There's that big of a gap. It's even the same for Swift. Swift is actually only at like 28% projected ownership right now, where Dave Montgomery is chalk at 50%, and you have Zeke, who's at 45%, and Swift is only at like 28. So that's also going to be different. The fact that you don't have David Montgomery or Zeke in this lineup is even more contrarian. So I think this is good. I like this lineup quite a bit. The only one I don't necessarily love is really just the Beasley one. I have my concerns with him with Knox, but
yeah, that's what I was going to ask is who. Because obviously I don't know anything about the contrarian part, but I was going to ask who's sitting around Beasley's price range. You might be able to swap him out.
He's right there around a lot of the same, the lower end guys. But he just worries me just because.
I mean, would you rather throw in like Wilson?
You could, but he's like significantly. I honestly, if it was me, I probably. Well, I guess you already played 2 tight ends. I was going to say Schultz, but yeah, Traquan, yeah, and Beasley are right around the same price. Yeah, I mean they're all kind of, Uzi. I think one thing you could do to get different. And it still would be a very contrarian lineup. There is, I think, let me look real quick. Let me make one. Create new lineup. And I'm going to do this really quickly. Let's see. What is his lineup? Dak.
I'll read it off. Dak, Swift.
Tony Jones. Wide
Lamb.
receivers, CD.
Mooney. Beasley. Hawkenwaller. Bills D. I'll let you go through and look at that. Alan, you will never not be able to reach us, especially holding it down for us. We'll always be here for you. We'll never leave anyone behind. It's always going to be our goal is to build this community. It's what we've always wanted to do from the outset. So we'll never get to the point where we're not responding to folks. It would be nice if we had to, get someone else to help us do that because of these subscribers, but we will never not do that. What?
I said Walito.
Oh,
no, I'll say Walito does an excellent job with coming in, making on the chats, answering questions whenever, some of the shows, stuff like that, or, being active. Really, like Walito is a real MVP. We talk about, last night, which clearly you have listened to because I went on a little bit of a tangent about, what I'm thankful for this year at the end of the show last night. And I mentioned you, Cody, and all the stuff that you do to help and everything else, and we couldn't do it without you. But I also, I don't think we could do, I guess we could still do it without Walito, but he has been, that sounds so terrible. I didn't mean it like that. But but with
I guess
Walito,
nothing would change.
I too truly appreciate Walito's involvement and
100%.
being here for every single show and in the Discord. He is definitely an OG of the TFA crew. We could not do it without him. So I do truly appreciate his help. And I apologize if that sounded
I guess my life wouldn't change all that much.
Yeah.
Do you have the answer for Uzi here?
Because to me, I would want to try to figure out a way to get up to a Manny. Manny's only $800 or only $300 less. Whether that's dropping down from the Bills. Yeah, it's tough though because that leaves you at 28. Then you'd have to play Lions or Raiders. I don't really love that.
What's
that or you just don't play unless you don't play two tight ends.
Or what's the difference between Hawk and Schultz? You mentioned Schultz. If he drops down to Schultz, does that give him enough to go from Beasley to Sanders?
He still could. He just would have to the defense because Schultz is actually more expensive than Hawkinson. Schultz is 53.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Well,
so that doesn't really help.
Nope.
I don't know. That's the change I would make. I would much rather go Manny than Beasley. So, and like I've said, Uzi, I see that you said Lattimore on Diggs. I don't care about Lattimore. Lattimore's been trash. I mean, Lattimore has been straight booty this year. So we're not worried about that one.
A couple more questions here to round this out. Dillon, Henderson, or James Robinson in the flex for NFL?
Henderson. Or no, excuse me. Give me James Robinson. Sorry.
Ooh. Yeah. Man. Yeah, James Robinson. That's really close, Andrew. Question here for 8: Mitchell, Josh Jacobs, Javonte Williams, one for rest of season. So to me, this is pretty easy. If you're looking for someone you're just plugging and playing rest of season, to me that's Mitchell. If you're looking for somebody with the highest upside, like if this is just a group of running backs that aren't really cracking your starting lineup and you're just swinging upside, I like Javonte. Let's say if something happens to Melvin Gordon, I think Javonte has the highest upside. But if you're just looking for someone to plug and play rest of the season, that's easily Mitchell here for me.
Yeah, I would agree.
McLaurin and Gaskins for Mixon. I hate how up and down Heineke is.
I think I could make that move. Yeah, for Mixon, yeah, I would make it.
Yeah. Smokey the Cat. Really need the dub this week. Bateman or Pollard?
With the news that Zeke, because I mean, we were kind of thinking that maybe you could play a lot of Pollard this week and actually fire him up because, and I think it's still possible that he plays a pretty, maybe even a little bit more than what he typically does with this being a Thursday game. But I still would probably lean towards Rashad Bateman. Especially with Lamar should be back this week.
You would take that one, Kev?
Well, so the issue is that the same thing we saw with like Dawson Knox limits what really Cole Beasley does. He had the one game when Knox was healthy against Washington where he had 13 targets. And then, but other than that, he had two targets, against 2 targets against Houston, 2 targets against Kansas City. And then when Knox went out, he had the big game, the 21.8, the 21 against Miami, and then 11.3 against Jacksonville. And then since he's been back, we've seen 3.5 and 6.3 because Dawson Knox kind of rips into that a little bit. And so that's the only concern I have. I think Beasley's okay. He's not a bad play. That's not my point. I just don't know how high his ceiling is. And I think you could end up, it wouldn't shock me if he scores 6 or 7 DK points tomorrow.
Yeah.
And with Sanders only 3 points different, I just think he has a significantly higher ceiling than what Cole Beasley does.
Emi, 2 wide receivers and a flex. Ayuk, T, McLaurin, Ty Johnson, Rashad Bateman, Jeff Wilson. Let's start with the receivers. McLaurin.
And Ayuk. And I'm flexing Rashad Bateman.
Now I would flex T Higgins over Bateman. But they're close enough that I don't think it's a huge deal, but I slightly lean T Higgins there. Well, we've been planning on doing the free for all for a while, but you'll be the first to know, buddy. Whenever
I think maybe in December we'll make one of the Friday show that we do a free for all. Yeah. Which people that are new here wonder what that is. We literally drop the link to the show into the chat, and anybody can join the show. The only rule is no dicks. Okay, no dicks. We
got a little worried last year when we did it, but
yeah, because you never know. Because we're putting the link to the show. You just jump in and boom, you're in the show. You're on the show, and so it's a little sketchy, but it worked out really well last year. Really enjoyed it, and so we're going to do it again this year too.
Abraham, if you don't send a Thanksgiving thank you note to your league and say you're thankful for them just letting you rip them off, I'm gonna be very disappointed in you. Could you imagine preferring Latavius over Amari? Bravo.
Do you prefer Latavius over Amari?
Yes.
Wow. Good for you. Good for you, Abraham.
Abraham, we need to see the screenshot in your league chat where it's like, hey, just want to let you guys know I'm thankful for you just being a bunch of fucking idiots and letting me win all these trades. And then hopefully you take down a league. Because if you talk that kind of shit and you don't back it up, that's a tough one to swallow. But I would absolutely be digging into the rest of your league, especially with the trade deadline over and being able to do anything about it. I'd be sending that to my league mates. Tyrod Taylor or Heineke this week for Glock Guy?
I'm going to go Heineke.
Usable.
I think Ty Johnson is in PPR formats. I definitely think that he is. And it could be more. I mean, he could take on a 3-down role. I don't know. They're a team that's out of it, right? So rushing Tevin Coleman's ass out there to do anything is and Tevin Coleman's old ass. So, yeah. I like Ty Johnson. I think he's the guy. Tevin Coleman, no. There's no reason to roster Tevin Coleman. He has 0 upside.
Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, that's what I love about DFS. So it's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's slate. I think there's a lot of different things, and I'm just looking forward to see how everything turns out. That's what I'm going to do when I get off here is probably build my lineups.
Ekeler for Swift and Terry.
Yep. There's really a small gap between Swift and Ekeler, in my opinion. There's not a big difference. So getting somebody like Terry on that, it's a easy yes.
All right. Another 2-hour live stream in the wraps. We appreciate all you guys. Like I said, join the Discord. Hope all of you have a great, terrific Thanksgiving. Hope you're able to enjoy the time with some friends and some family. If not, even if you are, take a little second, slide in the Discord, say what's up. We will all be around, and we'll be chatting throughout the day, especially with all the football that's on. So we are definitely thankful for all of you and rocking with us and hanging out with it, being part of this TFA community. It's definitely what we are attempting to do to kind of set ourselves apart from other fantasy shows, and obviously just being better than everyone, obviously. But
that is 100%. Like I typically, don't have a big ego or anything. Anybody that's been listening to us long enough knows that I'm really a humble person and I don't really have a big ego, and I don't really, think that I'm just the greatest, but we're the best goddamn show that's out there on YouTube that you're going to find. And I know there's a few big ones that are out there, and I will put us up against anybody and I will smack them down. Okay. And I've seen some other really bad content. The one thing I will say, this is just a mini rant that I probably shouldn't go on, but I'm going to go on it anyways.
Boy.
This can't be edited out. We put out our content early this week because of Thanksgiving. So we recorded on Monday night. And the people who do that consistently every week and put out their content on Monday nights are just doing it for views. There is absolutely zilch. They have no information, nothing to go off of. So all of it is just for views. And it just irritates the hell out of me with it, because you don't have any information. There's no way you know anything that's happening. You're doing it just for views, and that's it. And that's all I want to say. So people that put out their content, I'm talking about start sit stuff, like must starts. People put out a must start goddamn video on Tuesday morning can get all the way out of here because you have no idea. There's no information you have to go off of. We have no news. Injuries happen. All this stuff happens. That's all I'm going to say. So if people that do that, I wouldn't pay any attention to them because they're clearly, it's all this is about is views. That's all it's about. They don't care about helping you actually win and try to get better at this. I digress. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
That was much calmer than I thought it was going to be, and that was also much shorter than I thought it was going to be. BTC, I'm going to go Big Ben here. I can't trust Danny Dimes. Can't trust Red Rocket. I'm going to go Big Ben.
Ooh, I think I would go Dalton. I like Dalton. I'm playing some Dalton tomorrow.
What could go wrong? Yes, thank you, Andrew. RC, let's all be great together. I think it's a good note to get us out on here. Walito, you are the man. Let's be great together. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. We will be back on Friday, and we'll see you all in the Discord. Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.